Hello everyone, Sabaki here, and I'd like you to meet my newest, bestest, non-flesh and bone friend, Ragnarok, the Golem. Golems are a brand new villager type here in ASKA and were introduced as part of the massive Seaborn Raiders update, and although the main focus of the update was of course the Karvi seafaring vessel and island raiding, I am not exaggerating when I say that golems, these gorgeous semi-sentient rock people, are downright bloody fantastic. So let's take a look at them, shall we? Now, fair warning, you are not going to be seeing golems strutting around your villages until the late game, so to quickly go over how to summon them, golems, like villagers, are summoned at the Eye of Odin, but only after you've unlocked and upgraded it to tier 4, which does come with the requirement that you first defeat the Stone Jotun. But don't worry, because things only get harder after this. Once the Stone Jotun is defeated and the Eye upgraded, you'll see that to summon golems you must first have also conquered the Flying Beast, or put another way, killed Nidhogg, a wyvern, not a dragon, that soars high above the salt-swept plains of this fantastically dangerous and far-flung desert island. And lastly, the resource cost required to summon the golem is Jotun glass, not Jotun blood. Jotun glass is found as both a harvestable resource on the desert island or in lootable chests found in both ancient ruins and enemy camps. Also, keep in mind that you'll need 150 Jotun glass per golem, making golems, though powerful, a rare and valuable resource. So to recap in 7 easy to follow steps that'll take absolutely no time, but also what's the big deal? Step 1, kill the Stone Jotun. Step 2, upgrade the Eye of Odin to tier 4. Step 3, build a harbour and a Karvi. Step 4, embark on an expedition in search of the Scorched Island. Step 5, slay the drag wyvern Nidhogg. Step 6, harvest a load of Jotun glass. And finally, step 7, return home with tales of your victory to all of your friends and family and loved ones, unless a blood moon wiped them out while you were away. So by now you're probably thinking, holy potato, that is a lot of steps, why even bother with golems if you can just summon another villager for 5 Jotun blood and call it a day? Well, first of all, they're new and shiny and cool and don't speak about Ragnarok like that. But also, to answer that in full, let's put aside any worries of sentience or a soul and go over the pros and cons of the golem. Starting with the pros. Golems do not need to eat, nor do they need to drink, rest or sleep. They do not need a home, and they are not affected by adverse weather such as blizzards. Basically, golems will just go about whatever job you assign them with zero needs outside of any required tools or weapons. They will work all day and all night without stopping for any of those silly mortal needs like food or water, and above all, they will not complain about life's smallest hurdles. All of that rightly sounds fantastic, and again, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, gosh, Bucky, you're making it sound like these golems are going to swoop into our villages like some rock and roll umbrella-wielding nanny from the sky to save us all from chores of labor and allow us to live a life of leisure and luxury, while also reminding us to hydrate. But have you considered the implications and risks associated with bringing literal rocks to life, and what does that mean for golem rights? Because if we're about to create sentient gravel, someone's going to have to explain to me why the pebbles in my driveway now need a dental plan, or why my stone highway now only works 9 to 5 on weekdays. Well, the answer is simple. As great as golems are up front, there are of course some caveats, so let's go over those now. Golems cannot work all jobs. Some jobs like farming are unavailable to them. Golems do not have perks, nor do they come with any base skill or inherent proficiencies, more on that in a second. Golems cannot wear armor. Golems do not heal, or at least I couldn't figure out how to heal them while making this video. And lastly, and most importantly, golems age and will die, shut down, cease goleming, whatever, after 2 years. So on the one hand, you have these tireless, needless automatons that are able to work 24 hours a day, but on the other hand, they do so without the benefit of job boosting perks or proficiencies, and since they are also unaffected by runestone buff proficiencies, this does mean that they level in their job incredibly slowly. Then after 2 years, they'll just keel over and die. To be perfectly honest with you, I am in love with the golems, and no amount of cons is ever going to make me stop loving Ragnarok here. Now, before I end this video, here is how I plan to use my golems, and I would love to hear your thoughts on how you will be using them in your villages. So the job that strikes me as the absolute perfect best placement for golems is of course the runestone, because now you'll be able to run them 24 hours a day. that is going to be an incredible buff to the rest of your living villagers, as they now will be able to rock all 4 runestone buffs no matter which shift you've assigned them to. This might mean that you'll have to invest in a blubber farm for a greater supply of fish oil, but honestly, worth it. Absolutely hands down worth it, and to me this is an absolute no-brainer, which is handy because golems don't have any brains. Probably. Sorry, Ragnarok. Now I feel bad. Now, my second best job idea was going to be the farm, but if you interact with the golem and go to this panel on the side here, you'll be able to see what they can and therefore cannot be assigned to as jobs, and farms sadly isn't on this list. That is a bit disappointing, but honestly this is probably a balance thing, so I'm fine with it. So instead of farmers, I think my next suggestion for golems would be working as fishers, fishing 24 hours a day in the snow, in the heat, in the rain, whatever. That would go a long way towards both supplying your village with food as well as those ever burning runestones with blubber. Fishing is also much less skill dependent than hunting, which would take ages for them to get good at given their lack of proficiency. I can see hunter golems kind of just being a waste of time and ammo. Working at the market might also be a really good idea, because not only are golems unaffected by cold, meaning they're not going to give up halfway through a winter run to seek shelter, but since they never need to rest, you're not going to wind up with carts in the middle of nowhere because Kyle left it behind at the end of his shift. Honestly, I wish these guys were around during my 9 Realms playthrough. It would have made things a lot easier. Making them cooks at the cooking house could also be super helpful, because 1 golem would technically replace both the day and the night shift workers. You could even take it a step further and have 2 golems assigned to 1 cooking house and have one of them working the oven making pies while the other is working the pot making soups and stews. Then the last one that strikes me as helpful would be the warehouse worker, though you may want to make sure the warehouse you assign them to only moves goods within the village, as again, golems cannot wear armor and I still haven't figured out how to heal them, so just make sure they're not making runs outside the city walls fetching sticks or bones where enemies might attack. Oh wait, hold the phone. You could also do something completely different. You could just have an outpost full of golems, and that is going to be absolutely brilliant, because you're not going to need to make them a house or a bed. You're not going to need to make them decorations to make everything look pretty. You're not going to need to make a fence or a barracks to make them feel safe. You're not going to have to ship out food or water or firewood or coal or clothing or any type of resource. The only thing you'll need to send them is tools so that they can work, and the only thing you're shipping back are tool parts along with the resource they are gathering. And although by this stage in the game you're probably not going to need an outpost, I think I'm just going to do it for the fun of it. I would love to have an outpost run by golems. That just sounds really fun. But anyway, that is all for today on the golems, at least until I get a bit more experience with them. Let me know how you plan to use them in your village, and as always, thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed your time here, then please consider grabbing a sub, dropping a like or leaving a comment, and I'll see you next time. Say bye-bye, Ragnarok.